2 weeks to go until the Minnesota Vikings beat the tar out of the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, U.S. Bank Stadium, September 13th. But less than 1 week until the Vikings have to cut the rooster, the greatest and most talented roster in the history of all time. It's basically an all-Madden team, except for interior offensive line. They got to make trims as well as set their 16-man practice squad next week. So all the talk about training camp, all everyone wants to talk about is like, how's the rookies look? So we thought we'd take a moment, recap how the historic Vikings 15-man draft class, as well as a haul of UDFAs, is faring thus far. As of right, and only a couple practices left before big decisions have to be made. So here's how they stack up. Production value. So up at the top, first round picks, Justin Jefferson, as well as cornerback Jeff El Jefe Gladney from TCU, both performing well. Justin Jefferson, star of training camp, and he's good to go. He's going to be working in as the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. He will certainly get his. He will start out fast out of the gate, and I'm really hyped about Jefferson. Now, I was a little bit tepid in the draft process. I thought that his skills overlapped a little bit too much with Thielen, but it's like, oh yeah, you can have two Adam Thielens, right? As well as I think Jefferson's vertical prowess is a little bit underrated, but great hands, amazing route runner, and is not afraid to go over the middle. So he's going to be a big time safety valve for Kirk Cousins right away, especially the offensive line is. So Jeff Gladney started out a little bit slow. Vikings were easing him in as he was recovering from meniscus surgery, but he maybe, even though he's going to be outside the top 3 cornerbacks to start, he's certainly going to be there as option 4, and I think that if there is an alien abduction, or perhaps Holton Hill or Mike Hughes or even Cameron Tiny Dantzler, they falter a little bit early, Gladney will get his 20, will be on the field. Second round pick, so our guy, Ezra Cleveland, the pride of Boise State University, they seem set on experimenting with him at guard. Now, I understand if the process is try to get him on the field as soon as possible, especially the way that Dakota Dozier and Pat Elflein and probably Avante Collins have been looking. So I get it, but also been running primarily with the second team. Was even down with the third team during the scrimmage because Avante Collins was taking up second team left guard reps. But I don't agree with it. I think that Ezra Cleveland should be on the field. I think he should be the left tackle. I think Reef should be inside. Keep hope alive that the option is still on the table. Third round pick, final day 2 selection, number 89 overall, Cameron Tiny Dantzler, coming out of Mississippi State. And you could say that the Dantzler hype is even higher than Jefferson. I mean, Dantzler came in, wow, training camp right away, toe-to-toe with Adam Thielen, picking off Kirk Cousins a couple times. And Dantzler is going to be a steal. He is. He's got the size. He's got the length. Just needs to fill out a little bit of weight. But he is a pure press man, bump and run type cornerback, and he is not scared. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring to the Vikings early on. Into day 3, so the pair of fourth-round edge rushers, DJ Wanham, South Carolina, as well as James Lynch out of Baylor. Now, I put him in the same category because they're sort of in the same boat, where I think they're going to get a redshirt year. Both of them are working with the third team. Jalen Holmes, Cheeseburger, Eddie Arbro, and Anthony Zettel are clearly ahead of them in the pecking order, as well as it's been very limited, James Lynch potentially kicking inside. So I think that both of these guys, I mean, they're probably not going to contribute much as rookies. Also, I think it's possible that one of them may not make the 53. I'm not sure which one. If I had to pick one, I think Wanham would make it. Lynch would be on the practice squad, or at least they would attempt to get him on the practice squad through waivers and then protect him. So I get it. Also, fourth-round pick linebacker Troy Dye. So he's going to be the star of this fourth round, his rookie season. Already the fourth linebacker. Love his competency and coverage, as well as I think that he could potentially be an Anthony Barr replacement. Like if things don't go well with double nickels this season, you could see Troy Dye moving to that strong side linebacker role. Not a one-for-one replacement, but certainly could be taking up those snaps. Fifth round, cornerback Harrison Hank coming out of Temple. Now, initially started camp out great, sort of been lapped by Neville Clark, the UDFA out of Central Florida. I think he could be practice squad bound, or I think the potential is still there because of his size, moving him to safety. Also, the other fifth-round pick, KJ Osborne. That's just the U being the U, baby. I think that he is going to win both return jobs. I think that could put Amir Abdullah and Chad Beebe at risk for making the 53-man roster, as well as Osborne. I mean, his prowess on offense, I think, is underrated, and he's been tearing up the second-team offense. I think he could get on the field. potentially as the wide receiver 4 this season. 6th-round pick, so Blake Brandel, Oregon State. Initially was a stud of camp after he came off the COVID reserve list. He was working with at the second-team left tackle with Oli Udoh out. So Rashad Hill switched over to right tackle. But the hype has waned a little bit. He has been playing pretty well. Hasn't necessarily been exposed, but also this could be a ploy to try and get him on the practice squad, where you'll see this, where there's games, especially since teams this year more than any have been controlling the media narrative. They'd be like, this guy, get him through waivers, get him on the practice squad, and then slap one of those 4 protection spots on him. 6th-round pick, Josh Metellus out of Michigan, underwhelming. It's a big reason why. They moved Nate Metters to safety, as well as this claim Stephen Parker. 7th round, 4 guys: Kenny Willekes, edge rusher, Michigan State. Johnny Tryhard has been working as the 3rd and 4th team edge, if there is such a thing as a 4th team. Dinged up at Friday scrimmage. Wouldn't be shocked if they waive him with an injury claim, try to get him on IR. 7th round quarterback Nate Stanley, Iowa. As advertised, big arm, questionable accuracy, not really doing much. I don't think he's going to unseat Browning as QB3 anytime soon. 7th round Brian Cole II, he already gone. 7th rounder, the final one, interior offensive lineman Kyle Hinton coming out of Washburn. Physical tools are there. Already got man-sized strength. Already has great speed. Hasn't moved past the 3rd team offensive line, but as the Vikings continue to have interior offensive line issues, you may see something with Hinton, but I think that he's maybe fringe roster guy at minimum practice squad. So the UDFAs, a couple of these guys are really doing some work. So fullback Jake Vargas, North Carolina, has been impressive, but also he's working behind CJ Ham. I think that his receiving skills are a little bit underrated. Reminds me a little bit of Red Ellison, who, like Ellison, Vargas was a tight end coming out of North Carolina, but now they're transitioning him to a fullback, H-back type role. But he is intriguing, and if CJ Ham wasn't on this roster, I think Vargas is making a really good case. But also, if Ham wasn't here, we would have held on the Kerry Blossom game. Not that I'm angry. So UDFA wide receiver Courtney Davis coming out of Texas A&M. He's looked really good on the 3rd team. I don't know if it's enough to make the roster, but definitely practice squad and potential for the future. The other UDFA wide receiver, Dan Chisena, coming out of Penn State, 6'3", track star. Some good stuff in special teams coverage. Been a couple of snaps here and there in the 3rd team. I don't know if it's enough to make the roster, but also he has outshone guys like Dylan Mitchell, the 7th round pick from Oregon last year, who's just been not great. Also, UDFA tight end Nakia Griffin-Stewart at NGS coming out of Pitt. So he and Brandon Dillon have both been vying for that 4th tight end spot. I don't know if either of them have done enough to compel the Vikings to carry 4 tight ends on the roster, but he and Dillon could be fighting over a single practice squad spot. Also, UDFA offensive lineman Jake Lucina, center, coming to Augustana, Remington Award Trophy winner. Father played for the Vikings for a hot second. He's been working as a 3rd-team center. I think he's been intriguing enough that he may make the practice squad, as well as you see the Vikings having interior offensive line problems, but Lucina's, by all accounts, has been looking pretty good. Also, defensively, so UDFA nose tackle David Moa out of Boise State. He's basically the only true nose tackle on the roster, although he's not cut from the same mold as Michael Pierce, but then again, who is? But, I mean, with the Vikings potentially having some interior defensive line depth issues, I think Moa could make the practice squad and maintain him in the sphere. So UDFA linebackers, you got Jordan Fair from Appalachian State, as well as Blake Lynch coming out of Baylor. Misspell, whatever. I think it's 2 guys, 1 spot, 2 uber athletes that the Vikings want to keep in the sphere. I think 1 will make the roster. I think 1 will make the practice squad. TBD, what will happen there. UDFA cornerback Neville Clark, UCF. I think that he's made a really good impression. I think that he's made a very strong case to make the 53. At minimum, he will be one of the protected practice squad players because he has shown a lot, and he is really from the Cameron Dantzler, Holton Hill type mold, where you got the physicality, you got the length, you got the size. It's great. As well as UDFA safety Miles Dorn from North Carolina. Hasn't done enough. I don't even think that he makes the practice squad. All right, so that is it. That's a quick recap of the Vikings 53-man rookies and how they're stacking up so far. Who do you like? Who do you not like? Let us know in the comments section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Pull us on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.